is not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even life advice.
All right. I mean, this is new. I'm in your office. I think I've only done one IRL podcast, and at that time, I was there. So again, thank you for providing your office here.
No problem.
This is very interesting. So just for context for the listeners, we're currently at Ranger Finance office. Oops, no free sponsor. So if like Flow You, if you want to sponsor, just.
They have good drinks over there.
So we're at Ranger 5 office, and today we are with Matu. Yep. Right. So I guess let's just kick things off pretty simple. For our uninitiated listeners, if you can just tell a bit more about your background, your story. I like to joke that Kevin from Sean and other podcasts here, from when shit happens, he always asks the greatest open-ended questions like, "Who are you?" So who are you?
If you ask me that, I'll actually be stunned now. I'll just freeze. Okay. So, I basically got into crypto in 2019, 2020, just doing some plots on it. Found Sol in 2021, built during the first hackathon. I think it was second hackathon.
Oh.
Yeah. We won the hackathon because we built the first index set also.
Oh. Yeah. This
is 2021, yes, correct. And then, officially started Solana and then basically for capital quite a bit. And after that, I decided, I think the Perp game is something that really hasn't been properly tapped on. And that was pre-HL day. Pre-HL.
Yeah.
So HL was gaining prominence, but it wasn't that anime yet where we see today.
This was in late 2023.
Yes. Late 2023, exactly. And I think I didn't want to build a prop or just an index, and I wanted to build a Perp aggregator because I think where we see it, where our vision back then was, I think the Perp DEX scene will shape over time. I've seen it DYDX, GMX, and then now with hyperliquid as well, liquidity and users just tend to shape over time. As long as the biggest fundamentalist users with these protocols, that's where the value capture should be. So that's why we built Ranger Finance. That was back in late 2023, built the whole 2024, and right now we are releasing season 1. We just released season 1 yesterday. Yes, and that's where we're trying to go. We're trying to expand to different markets.
Wait, let's take a step back a bit. Is Ranger its own Perp DEX, it's one market, aggregator, where are you actually?
Yeah, so I think the end goal, the tagline is DeFi Command Center. So what that actually means is that we want to build perps, spot, and in the future as well, lending and borrowing yield. So an all-in-one platform essentially for traders. So the first thing that we wanted to work on was the Perp aggregator, because as you've seen in different Perp aggregators, they haven't been built properly. They're just a front end, and then users have to select the different Perp DEXs, and because of that, there's a lot of abstraction that has to be taken away first to build a proper
proper aggregator.
Yes, proper aggregator. So that means that on the wallet layer, on the bridging layer, on the execution layer. So these three things are the core things that essentially builds up what Ranger is today. And because of that, we have this thing called the SOR, Smart Order Router, where we take into consideration slippage fees per order size, and because of that, we either split it between the different Perp venues, or we route to the best Perp venue at that point of time. Right now, we are supporting Drift, Jupiter as well as Flash, but in the future as well, we've announced Fuse to integrating
Wow. Yeah, so you're gonna be, gonna be an omni-chain.
100%. Yes.
What was the first Perp venue that you traded on personally? Were you on the BitMEX time, or was it Binance?
I was I triggered a Perp DEX.
Or futures.
Oh, futures. Okay, futures is definitely centralized exchange. Like my first sex.
We'll keep that for the bloopers again. This is notes and editors.
The first centralized exchange. Oh my gosh.
That's good. That's fucking cool.
Oh my gosh.
CX.
Yes. The first CX that I traded on was Binance.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think it was still allowed in Singapore. And then it shifted when everything happened, obviously, FTX.
But you were doing futures back then on both.
I was doing futures on both, yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Wait, like I thought they had perps already back then too, right? Yeah. Got it. So your perps, your first perps platform was Binance and like FTX.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. That makes sense.
And then when JMix came out, I remember I was playing around a lot like with it. And there was so much debate. And then back then it was the cloud versus AMM.
Yeah.
And then there was a crazy debate about it, but I think to me the cloud still makes more sense for perps. But yeah, we've seen so much like evolution like since then. In the end, I think like when I'm comparing between like JMax and centralized exchanges, I still feel safer. I still feel okay, not really safer. Sorry. When comparing against like centralized exchanges and JMax, centralized exchanges still feel smoother.
Smoother, yeah. In terms of the UX.
In terms of UX, yeah, and in terms of UI as well. So, until of course having a big game.
Yeah. Everybody who's a trader was like a perp user, I guess, is a fan of hyperliquid. Yeah. I was actually gonna ask, I guess, like when did it first occur to you that shoot, like hyperliquid is like gonna be really big, right? Like I mean, like I think you said that you saw them late 2023, and I think that's not the first time that I met you. And yes, I remember hype was picking momentum a bit, but it wasn't as crazy until 2024. Yeah, like it was like what was sort of like the oh shoot, like this is actually crazy.
I think it really just depends on how well the product feels. I think that this like if you ask like all traders, like they can never point towards a single reason why like hype is that why is hype so good. But if you dig into the answers, it boils down to it's just a complete product.
Like even the placement of even the coloring when you want to change your TPS.
It's just everything. It just feels complete smooth. It feels bugless. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It feels bugless. It feels like spot on.
Right.
That's how traders feel about it. And I mean, if you compare against like that of at that point of time as well, like when it was picking up, it could compete against the leading Perp DEXs. Because even third already.
Yeah.
So your execution was great. Fees weren't so expensive as well. So in the end, it's a complete product.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember I should have farmed more. Yeah. Right. And I wanted to ask, like, because you're aggregating a lot of data, right? So I'm sure you see, I guess, a lot of a lot of interesting insights from all these Perp DEXs. I guess, what's your is there any specific insights that you can share with the audience? Like, and I know this is a very open-ended question, but like by seeing from all of this data, what are the typical things that you find useful? Because I think I've seen one of your tweets before that you want Ranger to also be like again this command center, because then you can see all the OI data like aggregated and so on. Yeah, what are like some alphas, I guess, for the listeners?
Yeah, sure. So I think in terms of Soul itself, right? Like because of having like all these dashboards included within a singular place, you tend to get some trends where if you are doing funding rate bars, right? That the trend one trend that we spotted back in like 2024 was the drift HL opportunity, right? So you were short on HL and long on drift, and because of the funding rate difference, you were earning about like 20-30%.
I see.
So this kind of like alpha comes in once in a while, but you just have to have the infra ready at the point of time to check it. Obviously back then we didn't have like HL, but because we in the end, like if you're a trader, you check against all.
They go to your website, they can see this.
Yes.
Access.
So other than that, like when we were aggregating like all the Solana perps data, it's pretty funny because Solana perp traders are actually very bad.
That's why Chip is making a lot of money.
Like, oh my goodness, like I've seen people getting liquidated like 6-7 figures, and the same wallet just opens up another position, another long on June. Like they're resistant fees or something that is like fees doesn't exist to them, and they just want to long everything. So a lot of, if you compare AMM books against prop like model books, right? Prop model books, traders tend to be slightly better. Because these guys, they just like because when you're AMM, right? Like back then, or even now, your USP is I have 100x, you get 100x long.
Yeah.
Right? And because of that, it attracts a different breed of traders to the platform. So you see much more liquidations on this side.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Second one is I think because we look into OI, and I think there's this funny thread that like Armani posted out like, about 2 months ago, and then my other co-founder Perp brought it up again like yesterday, where is there a reason why OI is always calculated 2 times? Like it's always double. And it's an industry standard, right? So I think that one was pretty funny. So because of that, like the way we properly track actual users coming on board, because there's a lot of bot generation of these days. So the way we tracked it is liquidations, right? So and you could see the difference between like those that are actually worth trading and those that actually have proper users.
That makes sense, because the OI can be fake.
Exactly.
But the liquidation
You can't fake the liquidation. So you can actually see the difference, and at the point of time, I think Jude was doing like 1B plus volume at the end. It was we all thought it was like not like very real, but I think we saw the liquidation as okay.
It's real.
That is definitely that bad. So.
That's interesting. Okay. Wait, like I guess a quick follow up on this. Like, what do you think? Like, one or two things that like attribute to like the one or two most impactful things that like attributed to the success of Perp DEX? Is it like listing new assets quickly, right? Like what let's say maybe for listeners, like what made Hyperliquid so like other than just product, right? Maybe even if it's not Hyperliquid, if when you looked at other rising emerging Perp DEXs, what did they do right that you think, if you want to make one, you better do this?
Got it. So I think a lot of it is it really comes from as time progresses, like traders become even more demanding of what a Perp DEX actually has to be. But the core of it is still the liquidity present in the different markets. So how deep like the liquidity is per market is essentially the core star of a Perp DEX. Right. So, but again, as a founder, as someone like who's building a Perp DEX, we always get the issue, the chicken and egg situation. Liquidity but no users, and then users no liquidity. So what do you focus on first? But essentially, liquidity like is the most important thing. Like in a Perp DEX, it's still the most important thing that's available. That is needed in a Perp DEX. So I think liquidity is top priority. Very different from aggregators. Aggregators is volume. Like number one is North Star metric. I think secondly is what you mentioned as well, like listing of like new markets. But the listing of new markets has to be done like well, right? So for example, like the recent pump. I think it was the first one. Even though pump was a sole coin. So it was
I was actually told by the like Able team that they listed it a few days before, but maybe because they don't have as much traction. But it's very quick, and it's also like spot, right? And it auto converts to the Perp markets, right? Which is also like
exactly. So I think let's say Able was the same back in the day when Hyperliquid wasn't very listed. Able listed one. it will listen it faster than Hyperlink, right? They would have gotten the first batch of traders first. Yeah, so I think but obviously like operational wise, I think it's pretty hard to list an asset like quickly because the first thing you need is an oracle. So if the oracle doesn't push up the oracle pricing first, then how do you build one oracle? So that's why HLD they are their own oracle, right?
Yeah.
It's like pretty crazy operationally.
Inventory and all of that,
Right, exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, what are you excited about? We can keep this fairly quick. Like, what are you excited about? I guess both in Solana and in the future of like everybody in Japan is building cloud DEX, right? So like, how are you seeing the whole space?
Yeah. I think so itself. What I'm most excited about is I'll say two different pros, right? Firstly, I really like it and finally people are realizing that revenue is the most important.
It's not just a meta, okay?
It's not a meta.
It has always been.
It always has been revenue. So people are finally realizing it. So that's good. That means the ecosystem is maturing, people are getting smarter in the right way as well. So that's something that I'm excited for the community. In terms of developments within Solana itself, I like the recent X talks,
Yeah.
So I think that's the first step to actually bringing Nasdaq on chain. Right? You have to have this. You have to have this assets trading on chain, and the next steps comes next when we bring in the liquidity, you bring in the volume, and from there a whole different line of businesses emerges on top of what you built as a base layer.
From that
Exactly. And I think so that's on Soul side, right? But then you say Perp DEX as well, right? I think because of how successful like HL was, there's a lot more teams who are hungry to take that position or fight with that fight. Like I don't know, like in crypto anything can happen.
Well, do you serve but like do you feel like Robinhood and all that can take market share?
Right.
That's interesting.
So I think it really depends, right? Like this depends on distribution channels really. It's not really one like product side, because I think if you compare like it's two different markets catered to two different people.
Yeah.
So HL is really more towards like people like you and I.
Yeah.
And then Robinhood is more towards like our parents or maybe like our friends who are in TradFi.
Jags.
Yeah. So I think these two distribution channels like it's very different unless HL decides to I'm gonna tackle that distribution channel. Or Robinhood like finally finds a crack or way into like us. And then when that wall comes, there will be
If it's Robinhood using builder code, that's game over.
That's game over. 100% game over. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That would be pretty easy.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane.
But
Okay.
yeah, I think like within we've also seen like the recent chats and whispers about like like there's an up and coming. There's no way you can ignore it. Mixed reviews about like the beta, but I think in general, they don't know. I think
in general, I would say that's like that's like the next thing that people are looking at. All the traders.
that's always the next thing. Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. In crypto, everything just moves too fast. Like you can't be you just can't be a like hyper maxi. You can be a maxi, but you just gotta change your type. You have to adapt. Yeah. So that's my advice.
Before my last question, is there anything that you want to ask me?
Is it more personal questions or what?
Up to you.
Okay. I think outside of like folks market in general, like derivatives wise, we've seen like so many like 2024, 2025 even. But what's your view on like 2026? On what narratives you are looking at? What makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm maybe pretty biased by the time this podcast is out. I think people will know, but I think my only piece is this: long Bitcoin and long yield. I feel like it's very hard. An exchange business like a Perp DEX is different because it's a very successful revenue-generating business. But I feel like all these other alts and infra are gonna have a hard time, and I feel that the most obvious strategy is to long Bitcoin and to long yield. So I'm seeing there's gonna be a lot more off-chain yield being tokenized on-chain. Even big players like Apollo is coming in both in Solana and in EVM, right? With like ACRED, they're like grouping in. We'll see a lot more of that. I think so. That's my thing.
Alright, so remarrying the TradFi businesses and companies with crypto through the yield.
So the yield part. All right, wait here. Before the actual last question that we ask like every guest, what's the best and worst perp trades that you've ever made? That you are comfortable sharing. Okay. Like I can tell you, I got liquidated on BitMEX in 2018 for like maybe 5 Bitcoiners. But this was in 2018. So like that was like, oh my god, I should have kept that.
My best and worst trade was actually the same as Luna.
Oh my god.
Yes. Dude, it was so hot. I met two in real life.
What? Oh my god.
I was in the
He was really big in Singapore.
But yeah, it was the best trade because like I remember like the run up before Binance listing was insane. That was my best trade yet.
Oh wow.
And then obviously the worst trade is holding on to so I don't do it when it collapses. So that was bad as well.
Wow. He was just early, man. I mean, look, we have tokenized stocks now. We are stable coin. Let's just fall on the forefather of the like, oh my god.
It's so sad, man. Oh my gosh. Like, but
wow, there's like, we did an entire episode for him, but that's
you guys definitely
that is so true, yeah. Okay, the last question that we always ask like every guest, what is the one thing that you need to make it in?
Wow. So one thing. I think it would be. I think we casually mentioned it just now, which is to always to not be so hard on like your views and always be adapting. I think it's just the nature of like high moving, like very fast paced industries, right? Like not just in crypto, also in AI. Like things just move so fast that we have to constantly adapt. And it's not that you're wrong, you were right. It's just that something else, like there's so many things that change altogether that cause you to be wrong. And this applies for like not just traders, but also for like operators, builders, right? Like there's so many teams in Seoul that built what they wanted to build, but in the end pivoted to something even better. So for example, like Mercurial, Twitter, right? Camino Hub. Drift was a Drift DEX, but Drift had their success when they launched like their what's it? Yeet? No. Drift was built on them.
It's just
There's a certain term in.
it's just like
That's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Yes.
Drift.
Yeah. So I think as long as you can constantly pivot, and as a trader, it's alright. Like, you have this plan. It's gonna hit support and all. Next thing you know, Trump says something. What gonna do?
So if there's a freaking war happening,
I think just having the mindset and constantly like
being able to adapt and not get destroyed.
Constant reflection. So I say that's
right. Well, again, thank you for the time. Again, check out all the things about Ranger on the description below. And until next time.
Until next time.
Take care, bro.
Take care.